Hello and welcome. Lynx here. We are playing still Chronotopia of a second skin. The fairy has arrived and in the end decided to help Kionna. Yes. And then everything went to black. But then everything stopped being in dark colors over through her field of view. The princess brutally regained consciousness of her breath taken away. In contrast to previous times, she was not directly assaulted by a flood of memories and sensations. Why? Quite contrary, the images of her past lives were only slowly, almost bit by bit, reaching her. Worse still, she did not feel anything anymore, nor fear, nor sadness, nor pain. Too, she blinked, dazed in an extreme state of apathy. For having repeated close experiences with death, trauma after trauma, she had eventually lost track of herself and did not understand where she was or who she was. She hastily recalled being a farmer who was taking care of her little sister in the countryside. Where did that come from? You've never taken care of anyone. At the same time, it seemed to her that she had been chambermaid, cook, or washerwoman and had served the Lord. Yet she also had the hazy recollection of courtesan life for a completely different king. And the place she had found herself in prompted other confusing memories she struggled to put into order. Which one of all those realities was hers? At the very moment, the young woman was convinced that some fragments of her memory were fake or mere dreams. Indeed, how could she have lived all those things at the same time? There could only be one right answer. And who was she? A farmer, a servant, a courtesan, or a princess? Upon seeing her clumsily getting back on her feet, eyes fixed on an imaginary sky, he immediately realized that something was off. Also, for everything correct, princess, you seem lost. Princess, is that what I am? But everything else, what does it mean? If this is supposed to be a joke, it is not very funny. Of course you are the heiress, who else could you be? I think my farmer who lives in a hamlet with family. My father is injured and my mother is taking care of him. Where the fuck are you taking that idea from? And I have a little sister whom I adore. Dude, why is she constantly trying to reshape everything to her own liking? What is her name again? Princess, what are you talking about? You've never been outside of the castle. Oh, really? Nice be a servant. Others make fun of my garb and I need to prove my worth. I believe the real steward took mean. Perhaps you know her. She's a woman on the plump side. Very kind. The real steward. I've never heard of a person who could fit this description. And I've been living here for years. Ah, that's right. Who are you? I often see you in my dreams. Are we friends? Princess, you worry me and more. You seem perfectly familiar. What happened? The confidant started to panic and tried to gently shake Kionna to make her return to her senses. This mean I'm your personal court lady. Please tell me what you know. That you know who I am. I think I do, but you do not seem to exist in all the places I visited. This is odd. Am I a traveler? Good heavens, could bet you hit your head on the edge of the bed without my knowledge. Would be nice. Or has one of your godmother's spells gone out of hand? It boggles my mind. How dare you offend the godmother of hers? Distraught, the young Moor began to flail around. What should I do? What should I do? Think there must be explanation. Not knowing what to do, she ventured to call the fairy aloud, convinced that she would know how to cure the mysterious disease. Lady Fairy, are you there? If your replacements were it is horrible, the princess had lost her memory. Do not fret. This is only temporary. That's odd. Stunned, Nahima turned and noticed the fairy quietly sitting on the edge of the window. Usually she would have been struck by her extraordinary appearance, as it had been the case during previous timelines. But this time the health of the heiress was at stake and she could not afford to pay attention to such a minor matter. What do you mean? What? What do you mean? The health of the heiress is very minor matter here. She therefore showed little signs of being disturbed. So now you know the origin of her disease, madame? Absolutely. Our princess simply abused my magic and she's now experiencing some of its consequences. How is that possible? We're thinking of a plan so that she could escape her father a moment ago and you tell me that she has already asked for your assistance? Ooh, Medea closed her eyes pensively. You should not hear it from my mouth, but it is not good to push you to the sideline either. Given the state your mistress is in, I will take over. The fairy sighed and beckoned her to come closer. Leaving Kionna to her amnesia, she complied. The reality you know has been distorted by my magic. To you, this innocent discussion dates back to a few minutes, no more. To the princess dates back to several months. Several months? In reality, Kionna already made her choice and left the castle. However, her plan was foiled and she decided to use my magic. And this when the spell turned against her? Let us say it this way. Her wish was to roll back time to this night in order to revise her plan. Technically, she never specified where she wanted the time to be rolled back to, but... Okay, I'm not gonna complain. I guess she only said, I want to roll back time because to correct my mistakes or something like that. But she never specified what mistakes and so on. Whatever. Unfortunately, she's been trying the same move many times now and my magic's starting to negatively impact her psyche. Let's go. So you know everything? Sorry, so you know everything? The two women turned around. Kionna had stood up, life seemingly back in her eyes. Oh, I see that you finally come to your senses, you damn bath. Princess, is everything alright? It is fine, Nahima. I remember everything. I simply needed some time. What relief! Would be nice if she went crazy. I owe you an apology, godmother. I acted very poorly the last few times we saw each other. Oh, get on your knees. Face to the freaking ground. And then you apologize. Is what Medea should be saying. I do not hold grudges, eh? I do, Fa. To make sure you are more careful next time. I rarely give a second chance. Suddenly you did give her a second chance. I don't know if I should thank your curse heaven for you seem aware of everything this time. How come? What do you mean? How dare you? It's a good thing she knows. Nothing riveting. Since you confessed going astray early on in the last timeline, I cast a spell on myself in order to keep some of my memories when you would turn back time once again. Indeed, you cannot hide anything from me anymore. Oh, I see. And here I planned something stupid. In her heart of hearts, the young Moor was feeling something like relief. I kind of doubt that. I bet she was... No, given her personality, she would like to use Medea in some way. Oh, it was hardly to her advantage that the fairy remembered how she had insulted her. Good. Kionna felt oddly calm. A tiny part of her burden had been removed. You don't deserve that to be removed. Every time she turned back the clock, she would erase what she had gone through. Good and bad things alike. It did not matter since nobody remembered it, unfortunately. Yet she was not entirely alone this time. Medea knew, Nahima too. Actually, Nahima barely knew anything. It's just telling the truth. Have you traveled through time? I was nowhere and you could experience all those things in my absence. It's fine, Nahim. I tried to tell you the first time, few times, but you did not believe. I eventually gave up. I'm sincerely sorry. I can't exactly fault you for that. Creating distortions in the fabric of time should be impossible. How could you ever believe me? Besides, this all history now. The reality no longer exists. Actually, I wouldn't be so sure of that. Again, we could basically relate to Re-Zero, right? And how it was over there. So I would say, those instances actually still exist. The princess lowered her eyes with such a heavy look, a look so filled with sorrow that Nahima's heart sank and she did not dare to say anything again. And I felt nothing. One mystery remains, godmother. I get the impression that I have radically changed my approach with each timeline. No, you didn't. Yet, they all ended up in unspeakable cruelty. What could I so systematically do wrong? Like fucking everything? I thought I was too distrustful, so I wanted to become friendlier, more open-minded. Then I thought I was too kind, too naive, and tried to become stronger, to inspire fear. What more can I do to break out of this vicious circle? Don't be a garbage of a human being, I mean. Think, use your brain. You're looking at it the wrong way, dumbass. I already told you so. You have lost sight of your goal for some time now. You need to find it again in order to light the way. And I know I already told you so, but you cannot rely on my magic forever. What do you mean? Eventually, you can't turn back. Have you noticed how difficult it was to wake up this time compared to your previous temporal incursions? Oh, you know what? You know what? You know what? Suddenly I suspect that your mother was also trash like that and was doing the same thing. I mean, to be honest, I kind of wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you have the same blood. Evidently something is different. Perhaps it's because you saved me at the last minute. Actually, this is not how the fairy's powers works. You never escaped death to begin with. I was correct! And yet I am the living proof of that. Oh, remember my advice. I had expressly requested that you would be clear in the wording of your wish. The reason for that is simple. My magic adapted itself to your wish. As it happens, you did not ask to survive an execution, but to go back in time. I'm afraid not to understand. Is the result the same? Not the same? Oh, hear me out, you dumbass. La baguette du courbe. The truth is that you really did die several times. I did not save you. But no, you let the princess die. Exactly. Since my memories have been preserved, I confirm that you were pierced by the barrel spikes a couple of seconds after my incantation. After shrieks beyond imagination, they left you to rot there, torn to shreds, but still alive. Damn. Impaled on those snakes, you were unable to extract yourself from the barrel and died of bleeding after several long hours. The king then disposed of your body, which was quite a sorry sight, inasmuch as you were unrecognizable. In your last breath, with one eye punctured, you cursed me, as you likely cursed me the previous times, believing that I had betrayed you. I don't understand. You claim to have failed? No, my spell worked perfectly well. Thanks to my magic, your consciousness was saved and sent back to your body before the tragedy happened. I used the same principle in order to become your equal in this timeline. Nothing more. Why are you telling me this? Why not? Oh, the reason is quite simple. With each new journey, your doppelganger dies and life goes on for the people left behind. There are now several realities in which you are not more than and I'm freed from the pact. Oh, I freaking knew it. It's ReZero, let's go. But what interests us here is the way my magic operates. Kionna, from the original timeline, is lying on the bed when her consciousness from an alternative timeline reaches her and attempts to infiltrate her mind to supplant the previous one. According to you, what makes the transition possible? I mean, it's Kionna, so I'm gonna say I have no idea because I'm stupid. I'm unfortunately not a mage like you. Oh, come on, you're not even doing an effort at a reflection. Disappointing. Very disappointing. I mean, she is, yes. There, I remind you that we are currently discussing the dangers that threaten your very existence. I know this all too well. To be honest, she's herself a threat to her own self. Just saying. Try to invest yourself a little more, if that is truly the case. Yes, godmother. Since you need the answer to fall straight into your lap, here it is. At the time of your awakening, the two consciousnesses are theoretically equal as both are convinced that they are from the real Kionna. But your alternative being has a major advantage, the trauma of death, a powerful fear, an inconsolable sadness, a fierce hatred. Your last moments are so intense that those memories easily prevail and, indeed, your emotions are what previously allowed the transition to happen. If this logic is followed, should I not be unable to remember more than one life at a time? No. Not at all, because you have assimilated an increasing amount of timelines with each new attempt. The most recent one always wins eventually, as it is the most imposing. Sadly enough. In that case, my last try should have been just as successful. This is where our problem appears. This time you did not experience strong emotions when you died, except for the failure to grasp what was happening. You were in such confusion that your memories to struggle to return to your body and replace your former self. Furthermore, even though you are collecting an ever-increasing amount of experiences, it is still difficult for your mind to clear them, demarcate the different timelines, making them blend in your head over time. Yeah, we know she's too dumb to like differentiate. Make difference between timelines. It was especially obvious at Clermont because despite my warning, you made the folly of wanting to replicate what you had been through exactly as it was before, and you failed. It is really necessary. Is it really necessary to reopen the wound? As long as the lesson has not been learned. Hehe. Damn pass. I believe that you are now visualizing rather well the harm there is in disconnecting yourself from reality, but this is not your only issue. So there is more bad news! Yet you had promised that your magic would not be dangerous! Would you shut up? I've never lied, dear. Kionna had always been warned that she needed to make good use of the fairy's power to avoid unfortunate consequences. And she's failed. And she abused my spell by repeatedly making wishes instead of paying the fairy's tribute, as indicated in our pact. I shall not be liable in case of cheating. This is enough, Nahima. Medea is right. This is entirely my fault. Hell yeah, it is. I would like to point out that nothing obligates me to help you, and that I'm nonetheless doing everything I can to find a solution. I'm grateful for that, godmother. I never the thought. If the process put her trust in you, then I will do the same. Very well. I would like to add this. Your new consciousness is admittedly fraught with memories, often intense ones, but it is also becoming less and less compatible. Yeah? What do you mean by that? By gaining experience, you are bound to become another person. You are changing. I wouldn't say she's changing. I mean, if anything, she's changing for the worse. And while this is positive in itself, I'm mean, she's become trashier and trashier, come on. It does create a rupture with the one you were during the night of our pact. As you travel through time, the old Kionna drift away and your body might reject the new consciousness at some point. That would be cool. How do I get to that point? If the fusion becomes this perilous and you still force new memories to enter, your psyche might eventually break. How do we get that end? No, Leth. I must treasure this is only a hypothesis. I cannot know exactly what would happen if your psyche were to be damaged. Also, nobody before was such a dumb boss to do this so many times. However, I do not consider the situation serious enough for you to take more time to develop a strategy. I mean, you are too dumb to create one, too much of a dumb to create one anyway. Understand, thank you for concern, godmother. The fairy blinked, taken aback. Have I mentioned being worried? Indeed you have not. However, you wouldn't give advice if you did not care about me. Would you? I honestly don't give a fuck. In response, Mandela looked away embarrassed. Think a little bit longer before taking a decision this time. And she unceremoniously vanished. I honestly don't understand why she would blush because of that. Whatever. Kionna turned to her companion, lost in thought. I wonder if I have offended her. More than once. Or rather that your godmother is known to show affection. Perhaps it's fairy custom. No. It did not seem so positive toward her earlier. Oh, well, this is all new to me. I'm just learning about your misfortune. Therefore, I cannot help feeling angry and wanting to find the culprit. She's right in front of you. I mentally thought that Lady Medea had misled you, but she does not seem to be a person at heart, and you act like you have accepted her resignation a long time ago. I do not wish to become an abandoned when you already have to extricate yourself from this abominable situation. Oh, Nahim, do not say such things. I got into trouble all by myself. Yeah. Even if I know that turning back time is not good for me, I fail to find another way to escape. This cannot continue. Dumbass. In the case, I'm growing weary of those time travels. I cannot stand them more. I don't want to have to erase everything again. Oh. And she's like, I'm not going. I'm not. I'm staying. She will marry her father. Dejected, the princess sat down on the edge of the bed and sighed loudly. Hunched, worn out, she seemed to have aged prematurely. The dashing woman... Dashing? When? Were you blind? Nahima knew so well had disappeared in a few hours, replaced by a stranger, someone who was sinking to silence, already jaded, already disgusted by life. Yet her face was still the face of a loved one. Nah. It was at that very moment that she genuinely realized the seriousness of what was happening. Kionna was not the same anymore. She was going away from her, far away to a place where she could never follow her. The fairy was right. She had to act quickly, save what remained of the former princess before she became someone else for good. What will become of me, Nahima? What will become of us? Powerless, the retainer sat down next to her, a sad smile fixed on... I don't know you can call that a smile. A sad smile fixed on her lips. Slowly, gently, she stroked her hair. Perhaps it is a sign of God. Perhaps my struggle is futile and I should give up. Yes, give up. Do it. Just do it. A clumsy silence settled in. Nahima managed to master all the strength she had to maintain a link, any snippet of conversation. I've already told you the story of my family. Obviously not. No, you've never mentioned this topic. In before they messed up as well. My ancestors came from Africa in the hope of finding fortune in France, as they had heard that wealthy and prosperous kings were living here. Oh boy. Oh boy. They were genie traders and were simply hoping to do business. They were ruined by a bad deal and eventually converted into retainers, settling in Europe permanently. Ugh.
For generations, my family was lived in a Moorish castle located in the south of France. The local ruler was perfectly integrated and they happily lived there for a long time. My mother was a chambermaid and my father a hostler. They met in the same citadel. Suddenly, war ravaged the entire region and my father was killed by a stray arrow during the siege. Already pregnant, my mother took the decision to leave for the center of the country in the hope that she would find a quiet land where she could raise me in peace. After days and days of cooking, she finally reached her kingdom. She headed for all the little surrounding villages thinking that someone would point out the nearest lord. However, some of them had been harshly hit by the plague in the past and the inhabitants had become extremely superstitious. Consequently, my mother was driven out on the pretext that foreigners brought misfortune and she thought her fate was sealed.
Dude, I mean, this is something that you can say about the West Europe and like the North Europe of now. Like basically countries are being are being flooded by plague basically. It's crazy. Gotta be glad they... I mean, it's surprising, but you know what? I'm glad I'm from Poland. As much as, you know, I will complain about Poland, at least like the Sand people don't come here. Anywho.
At least until she met your mother.
Over here, at least, you know, with Nahima's mother, it was clearly someone who is like, and father as well, right? Clearly like proper people. So I'm not attacking, but like the shit that's happening right now. Honestly, those countries should like properly buckle up and repair the situation properly with zero hesitation. Anywho, why am I talking about that?
As the queen was visiting the hamlet in which she had stopped, she came closer and begged her to give her food as I had just been born and she was losing hope of feeding us both. The sovereign was kind-hearted and moved by such distress, she accepted to hire my mother in the castle. As time went by, they eventually befriended each other and the queen appointed her as your wet nurse. When you came to being, as such we are foster sisters.
Wet nurse.
You never spoke to me about it. You never freaking asked. Oh, it is not worth mentioning. I mean, I'm only the daughter of your wet nurse. But it still makes me happy to share something with you, even if it's just the breast of a mother.
What?
The fact remains that my mother lost her life a few years later in a car accident.
Oh my god damn it.
Do you remember her funeral?
Alas, I was much too young. What do you mean? How young are we talking?
I was not much older and yet I remember everything with clarity. The news hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought I was left with nothing but death. That I was abandoned. Yet I had a roof. I was helping a bit at the castle. I was getting along with the other children like Millicent and Delphi. But becoming orphans overnight left me in deep wound.
Dude, I remember as well, like, putting, like, some family members to grave. What the heck? How do you not I mean, sure, it was not a family member for you, but still someone close. Dude, I remember even the earliest one. The earliest one of my great-grandfather, who used to live in the same house as well. Eventually, well, after his death and me growing up, I took over the room he was in, and now that I think about it, wow, that's a little creepy. But yeah, dude, I remember after his death and, you know, the whole ceremony and the cemetery and so on, I remember having at least for 2 days, I believe, for 2 or 3 days in a row, freaking nightmares where I walked out of the room and for some reason he's like, it's middle of the night and he's outside staring at me through the window, right? I'm like, oh fuck. That was the worst nightmares I've experienced, kind of, I would say. Anywho, let's continue. Now I don't remember how he looked like or anything like that. But it's an interesting experience anyway. I'm surprised she doesn't remember though. Like, yeah, anyway.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you better be. Do not be. You better be. The queen took good care of me after my mother's death. During the burial, she swore that she would be there when I needed it the most, and she kept her word to the end. She was a second mother to me, had admired her so much, and then she too left us. Her passing left a new void, but this time I was strong enough to overcome it. On her deathbed, she made me promise that I would look after you in her absence.
Ooh. Yikes. I guess that's... Ooh. That didn't go well because, well, of Kionna, to be honest, leaving you behind.
I swore I'd carry out the duty that I would be worthy of the honor I received when she appointed me as your lady-in-waiting. I swore I would do my utmost to make you happy. I swore I would be there for you in turn. And I'm very grateful for that, Nahima. I would not have been the same person without you around.
And maybe that's the problem. Maybe it would be better if you would not be the same person. Have you seen your personality? Kionna intended to brush her cheek as a sign of affection when she realized that her skin was damp. Large tears were falling down the companion's face.
Nahima? Please just tell me, have I failed to fulfill my promise?
The young Moor stayed speechless, shocked by her friend's grief.
What are you going through? What you must endure, your father's madness, and then the vicious circle. Is that not the proof of my failure? I was supposed to ensure your happiness, and I powerless before the hardships. You are in pain, and I cannot do anything about it.
Okay. I mean, how about you don't blame yourself too much? I mean... Unable to blurt out anymore, she burst into tears. Kionna was so shaken by her sadness that she temporarily forgot her own. Oh, what was that? Should I observe right now? In silence, she clumsily moved a hand forward before changing her mind and removing it. She lowered her eyes. What could she even say? What could the right words be in this situation? The princess was not used to comforting her friend and she found herself completely helpless. Yeah, because she only was always thinking of her own self. Internally, she felt guilty about neglecting Nahima all this time. She did comfort her in the previous timelines around the time of her departure, but it had only been to better bid her good riddance afterward. As soon as the castle was out of sight, she had abandoned her. Yep. How could she have lost her way to that degree? Finally, Kionna raised her hand again and gently patted her friend's back.
Everything will be right, I promise you.
Despite their closeness, she did not feel confident enough to be able to comfort Nahima with anything other than words. It was all she had. And the companion seemed to be satisfied with this. Slowly looking up, she cast eyes suffused with tears on her.
I Really? How do you know this?
The herds winced before improvising.
I've no way of knowing what I choose to believe in nonetheless.
Impressed, the young Moor began to clap. What?
Ah, beautiful princess, you sound so self-assured all of a sudden.
Kionna cleared her throat in order to stifle an awkward chuckle and quickly regained her composure.
We have little time left, and I still have to make a request to my godmother to get away from my father without incurring fate's wrath, but I swear I will find the solution.
Just give up.
Quite evidently, my previous attempts were not entirely silly.
Yes, they were.
I admittedly committed mistakes, but I did have some good ideas.
I wouldn't say so.
Only I can make difference by keeping those good ideas and maybe combine them. I strongly agree. Concealing yourself in object in such a way has to be transported over long distances seems like the best way to flee. It would be too limited to walk, and it would not be wise to embark on a boat or on a cart when your father is looking for you. You would be instantly recognized and apprehended. The trouble is to be able to choose my destination. Traveling on foot is bound to lead me to Lord Grisel's kingdom, and the Golden Bull only knows me to reach the road tarries. Considering the outcome of the previous meetings, I would rather never see him again.
It was your fault.
Quite understandably.
We know the first one was garbage overall of a person, but to be fair, you brought his wrath onto yourself. The second one, he was a piece of shit because he was cheating overall. But then again, you went after him. Terrible move. Anyway. Deeply focused Nahima leaned against the princess' voluminous wardrobe in order to better consider their options.
When you found an object, something big enough so that you could hide inside, yet innocuous at the same time.
She grimaced as she was tapping her fingers against the wood of the furniture. All of a sudden she had an epiphany.
But I know, your wardrobe!
Huh?
Explain your idea, I do not follow.
Excited, the returner opened doors and invited her mistress to examine said wardrobe.
Your wardrobe happens to possess some sort of false bottom. I noticed it one day when I was hanging dresses. See this partition? It is actually possible to tip it over and slip behind. Well, this is rather astute. But my father is not an idiot.
I wouldn't be sure about that.
He will surely search the castle from cellar to attic. Oh, that's why we need an additional trick. We must script your disappearance in such a way that he will not think about inspecting what is right under his nose. If my godmother can provide an elixir with a longer effect than in previous times, it seems conceivable. I only hope that he's truly going to rid himself of my belongings, as you suspect. Otherwise, I'll be stuck here again. Oh, trust me, there is no reason why this plan should fail. Very well, your idea is adopted. I have no alternative anyway, because I'm too dumb. Let us call my godmother without further delay. I'm never far away.
The two young women flinched upon hearing the fairy's voice as she had once again appeared without warning.
Without meaning any disrespect, godmother, could you show yourself in a slightly less sudden fashion? I'm not asking you to knock on the door, but I must admit that it's rather tiring to live this way each time I need to solicit you. I'm obligated to deny any responsibility if I abused my teleportation ability in previous realities, as I have no recollection of it. You could not have forgotten about our first encounters or your intervention to dissuade me from returning to Clermont. You inexplicably seem to take great delight in startling me. Oh really? Me? This is completely unintentional on my part, and I duly apologize.
Kionna frowned, but who cares? The fairy's behavior was so forced that it could not possibly be anything but deliberate. Good.
Come on now. Is that her way to retaliate for my misdemeanor? Had she not repeatedly saved me from the scaffold, I would have sworn that she was trying to scare me to death.
I hope so.
Right, enough chatting. Have you made up your mind? We'd like to reproduce the same strategy I previously used, but with my wardrobe instead of the golden bull. but the magic filter you had concocted for me would need to last much longer. Over a week at least. Well. This is within my capabilities for sure. However, something is bothering me. You are aware that you can borrow me any other magical object, are you not? I've not forgotten, my godmother. Feigning death, nevertheless, remains the best option available to me if I want to deceive my father. Very well. Once more, the creature performed a few graceful gestures and a familiar vial appeared in her hand. Here is your potion. As she was holding out the vial, Medea started to mumble in a voice. I suspect that you take as much pleasure in seeing me create those stupid as I do appearing in your bag. You were saying, godmother, eh? Nothing of importance. As soon as you take the beverage, you will fall into a deep sleep that will last exactly 10 days. It was wise to drink it at the last minute, etc, blah blah blah. The fairy was unable to suppress a polite yawn. You know the routine, call me if there is something new. Her sweat vanished almost instantly. I'm beginning to question the benefit of having my godmother remember my time travels. She seems inconvenienced by my requests. I mean, the benefit is that you won't use her. Like you would, for sure. I suppose it is her way of making you feel that it is high time for this unfortunate chain of repetitions to end, god damn it! You must be right. Well, what is your plan?
What? What do you mean?
I'm counting on you, Nahima.
The lady-in-waiting proudly puffed out her chest. Which, to be fair, is also not very impressive. Did someone say something?
Didn't worry, I'll do my best to get you out of here.
As the young Moor was preparing to slip in the wardrobe, she hesitated for a moment. Was she going to make the same mistakes? Yes. Was she going to abandon her servant once again? Probably yes.
I promise to send you a letter once I'm safe and sound. Tooth will never truly grow apart, and we will meet again in due course. Thank you, princess. The prospect of hearing more from you soon fills my heart with courage.
After one last smile, Kionna took the filter and the plan was put in motion. It was actually quite simple. Once the princess was safe in her hiding place, Nahima worked on making the loudest commotion possible.
No, please, do not hurt her!
While screaming, she was blowing out all the candles, vandalizing the room and throwing the sheets through the wide open window.
Hey, ma'am, someone is abducting the princess!
Upon listening carefully, she perceived frantic footsteps heading in her direction. With a satisfied smirk, she dipped her fingers in the spilled vase left lying on the bedside table and covered her face with water to stimulate tears. Great, she's a faker as well. Anyway. She then regained her composure and rushed into the corridor while faking dread.
And the princess!
She eventually came across a handful of detainers. Alerted by the noise, they had been the first to wake up and were coming to inquire about the situation.
Oh, it is awful, it is awful! I was bringing her punishment to the heiress as she had instructed me to when a gigantic shadow suddenly whipped through the window. It was a monster, as one had never seen before, enormous, hairy, had claws as sharp as blades. It was in course, and for a tail, I immediately knew it was the devil. He rushed toward Lady Kionna and took her away.
Devil? Naima, what are you saying? How would he kidnap that ugly wench?
That's right.
Well, Melisande, about that, you see. Your words kinda,
She didn't commit any crime. In a husky voice that makes you shiver, he said he was taking the daughter as a way to punish the father. That she would be going to hell because she was no longer protected by God, and that the whole castle would be cursed. And then he spread out his wings and flew away.
So I'm sorry, what? Like... Oh my god. Could you make it any less believable?
I tried to stop him, but he was too strong. Heavens, you mean that the wedding?
The king's attempted incest is going to cost him his lineage. I knew it was a bad idea.
Until the last moment I tried very to save her, but it is too late now. She has been spirited away. Oh, princess, you do not deserve such a fate.
Well, actually, such a fate is something she would deserve, to be honest.
What is happening here?
Informed about the commotion, the king himself made his way to his daughter's bedroom to examine in and obtain Nahima's testimony. Quite strategically placed in front of the wardrobe, she told her story again and added new details, each one more horrifying than the last. She was crying and cursing so much that she was easily believed since she was the closest person to Harris. The sovereign could only assess her disparition. He still sent horse riders roaming the kingdom to search for her and order his subjects to disperse. The deception was working perfectly as soon as he had turned his back. Retainers slipped into the bedroom to confirm the lady-in-waiting's account, and upon catching sight of the evidence of a fight, they immediately started to spread rumors about the abduction. Whew. In the following days, the rumor grew and grew. Everyone was talking about the divine punishment and the young woman's misfortune. The kingdom's unrest was such that some affirmed that they had noticed a black angel at the time of the tragedy. Others were fearing the curse that could strike at that moment and were thinking about leaving the country. The king's counselors were among those. They were lamenting and relentlessly begging the Lord to turn to God to atone for his sins. Unless once again he turned a deaf ear. By the way, once again, basically with running away, she will doom the kingdom. Indeed, the king did not believe in this farce in any way. If truth be told, he did not believe in anything and only had faith in the words of the druid who served as his trusted confidant. Madness had eaten away at his heart so much that nothing could convince him to renounce his obsession, not even the devil. He would therefore regularly visit his daughter's empty bedroom to ponder.
What a pack of lies! The retainer is her accomplice, there is no doubt about it. I know you have fled. That is only a ruse to deceive me. Traitress, I will eventually lay my hands on you.
Dude, she's your daughter, man. Dude, like, he belongs to the Sand people. Yeah. The despot was growing so enraged to see his prey slip through his fingers that he sent messengers to all neighboring kingdoms. Lord Griselt and Lord Tully both received a letter requesting them to convey any information they could have regarding the missing princess.
But nobody had seen her.
Every passing day he would come to sit on the empty bed. He would pace up and down the room's few meters again and again. Every passing day he was instructing an ever-increasing number of new envoys to travel even further. Yet those searches were beginning to cost him a lot, and without the marvelous donkey came to run low on money. Out of vexation he decided to rid himself of many precious objects and demanded that Kionna's wardrobe be sold. He did not want to have it in plain view as it had originally been chosen by his late wife. His servant promptly complied and carried it on a cart to the nearest marketplace. The piece of furniture was quite magnificently carved. It therefore caught the eye of a wealthy merchant who hurried to purchase it in exchange for a sizable amount of money. Once in his possession, he transported it on his boat and sailed away toward a foreign country. Nahima, who had secretly followed the retainers, watched the crew's departure from a distance with a trembling heart.
May the ship carry you to a more favorable land. I will remain in post, waiting for a letter every day.
Will it? Or will it not? We will find out in the next episode, because we're ending it right here, right now. Hope to see you there. Hope to see you there.
Indeed, we'll continue tomorrow. Time to get some sleep. I mean, at least she's not repeating the same path, I guess. Where this would lead, who knows? Who knows? But maybe finally we can count on some kind of redemption on her side. I don't know if I should believe in that or not, because honestly, all this time she's been unbearable, basically. Probably just like me, constantly complaining for, about her. Anywho, let's end it for today. We'll continue tomorrow, I believe. So, still, if you enjoyed, consider liking, subscribing, always appreciated. Eventually we'll play more games, which I'm looking forward to. And have a wonderful day. Bye bye.